You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
I still am continuing to run on this, but it's transparency, fiscal accountability, and ensuring that there's a voice for parents at the board.
Keeping our kids safe has always been the most important thing that any leader in a school district has to consider.
Incumbent Bridget Ziegler, challenger Nick Guy, running for District 1 of the Sarasota School Board. We'll have both candidates here to debate. They're ready. Are you? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the District 1 school board race in Sarasota in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. Tomorrow at this time, President Trump will be just up the road in Tampa, stumping for his pick for Florida governor. The president will hold a rally at the Florida State Fairgrounds Expo Hall at 7 o'clock. He is backing Ron DeSantis, who is battling State Agricultural Commissioner Adam Putnam for the Republican gubernatorial nomination. There's expected to be a huge crowd of supporters, but there's also expected to be a massive amount of protesters.
We just all have to stand up and protect the democracy that is our country. We have to speak up. We have to speak out loudly.
Whenever you go to see Donald Trump at any rally, there's something you're going to remember the rest of your life. He never ceases to surprise me. He's a very brilliant man, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from him tomorrow evening.
If you want to go to the rally, you have to register for tickets. We have put that link on our website at mysuncoast.com. President Trump's rally comes about a month before Florida's August 28th primary elections. If you want to vote, you have until midnight tonight to register. If you're new to the state or want to change party affiliation, you can now sign up or change your information online. Election Supervisor Ron Turner says that will extend your deadline about 7 hours later today.
Voters can consider vote by mail right now. We're certainly doing a lot of vote by mail. We've mailed more than 60,000 ballots in the primary, so that's an easy, convenient way for voters to vote in any election. Any voter can do it. Just contact the elections office for your vote by mail ballot or go to our website at sarasotavotes.com.
Early voting starts Saturday, August 18th and ends a week later. Primary day is Tuesday, August 28th. Florida's Legislative Black Caucus intends to file legislation to readdress the state's Stand Your Ground law. This after the shooting death of Marquise McLaughlin in a parking lot of a Clearwater convenience store. The Black Caucus says the legislation is aimed to address the ambiguities in the law that resulted in Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri declining to charge Michael Draka in last week's shooting. Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, a Democrat running for governor, calling on Governor Rick Scott to declare a state of emergency over the law.
We know that Stand Your Ground as it exists in this state has created the opportunity for people to take into their own hands a decision to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Democratic legislators must first get 20 members of the legislature to support the request. Then the more challenging part, getting 3/5 of support in both the Republican-dominated House and Senate. Senator Bill Nelson is calling for a federal investigation into the company behind some past systems errors. Nelson and Senator Gary Peters of Michigan on Monday requesting the Federal Trade Commission investigate conduit state and local solutions. State transportation officials in Florida blame the company for an upgrade to the system that resulted in delayed and inaccurate charges. Florida officials recently suspended paying the company until the problems are resolved. The request from the senators says the company has burdened consumers with onerous toll charges. Now let's head over to meteorologist Josh Stone with the First Alert forecast. Josh.
All right, Alan, thanks so much. Temperature right now is 78 degrees. We have cloudy skies, some light showers falling in downtown Sarasota. Dew point at 76. Humidity at 93, south wind at 7 miles per hour. The radar has been lit up for much of this afternoon and early this evening. We continue to get these showers that roll in off the Gulf of Mexico, and everything was ripe for shower activity today with the heating of the day. We had the southerly wind to help ignite these storms connecting with the sea breeze as well. Right now, Northport and Punta Gorda getting hit with some heavy rainfall. We had some heavy rain around Venice and South Venice earlier. Looks like just a steady light rain right now. Once again, though, the heavier cells on the radar picture showing around just to the north of Tropical Gulf Acres, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, even some lightning strikes at this hour, and also some cells here in eastern Manatee County right now. Doesn't look like it's very healthy looking, but as far as the rainfall goes, healthy indeed. Almost 3 inches fell just to the north of Arcadia and 2.6 inches here to the north of Northport. So we had our share of rainfall today, and looks like things are going to start to wind down as we go through the overnight. We're calling for mostly cloudy skies, maybe a rogue shower or storm in the Gulf, but I don't think that's going to migrate into the interior portion of our viewing area. But still, we will have clouds in our forecast. What's the forecast hold for tomorrow? We'll let you know when I return. Let's go back to Alan.
Thanks, Josh. 3 Sarasota school board seats are up for grabs, and 8 candidates are fighting for your vote. Monday night, we introduce you to the candidates for District 4. Tonight, the focus is on District 1. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick is now here with us for the story.
Alan, there are 2 candidates running for District 1 seat, Bridget Ziegler and Nick Guy. Even if you don't live in the district, as long as you're a registered voter in Sarasota County, you'll be selecting one of these 2 candidates to sit on the school board. So listen up.
It may be the most heated school board election in 2018. Bridget Ziegler versus Nick Guy. Ziegler being the incumbent, Guy a former educator.
I taught 7th grade social studies at a middle school in the south side of St. Petersburg.
Ziegler, a risk management consultant, has served on school board for the past 4 years.
I always run, and I still continue to run on this, but it's transparency, fiscal accountability, and ensuring that there's a voice for parents at the board.
Guy deciding to run because he says after Parkland, he couldn't just sit idly by.
Keeping our kids safe has always been the most important thing that any leader in a school district has to consider, but that's more important now than ever. It's unfortunate that it's come to this, but we have to do everything we can to keep our students and teachers safe. But having an armed law enforcement officer in the school is just only part of the solution. There's a lot more to it.
Another focus for Guy in his campaign is school privatization.
Most important is making sure that we fight back against this privatization that's happening in the state of Florida. It's gotten bad in other parts of the state, and I want to make sure that that doesn't happen here in Sarasota County.
For Ziegler, she says in her 4 years of serving, one of the things she's most proud of is making the school board more transparent.
So I fought very, very hard. It took 3 years, but to get all of our board meetings to be held in the chambers. Some of our workshops were held in a different meeting, in a different room, in a conference room, and I just didn't feel it though. Well, it was in the spirit of the sunshine. It was following sunshine laws, but it wasn't in the spirit of sunshine.
But Ziegler says there's still more to be done, specifically surrounding safety and security.
Ensuring that as we move forward with the internal police department, we continue our strong relationships with our law enforcement partners as the subject matter experts.
Both candidates confident that they're the better vote in August.
I believe that I bring a very positive focus to the board. I know that what is government sometimes often requires challenging conversations, and that's what we're there to do. We're there to represent our constituents and challenge each other to move forward, but we need to do it in a manner that we should be proud of and that our students can look up to as examples of leadership.
I think with a background in education and in the corporate world, it's a perfect blend of experience for the school board position.
The election is coming up not too far away on August 28th. As I've mentioned before, this is technically a nonpartisan race. However, Ziegler is a Republican and Guy is a Democrat.
Jess, thank you. In a moment, Bridget Ziegler, Nick Guy, the tango at the trapezoid is next.
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Moat's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Moat Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Moat Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit rtjgolf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you, with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Welcome back. Tonight, our last Sarasota School Board debate. For the last week, we have had all the candidates running in the 3 school board races to talk about the issues. It has been informative. It's sometimes been testy, but that is okay. After all, it's about the education and safety of our kids at stake, and it's been a tough couple of months for the school board. In the aftermath of the Parkland massacre, there has been discord, backstabbing, text messages that have gone public. There's also been some serious philosophical issues, charter schools and vouchers, etc. Tonight, District 1 joining us is School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler and her challenger, Nick Guy. Welcome to you both. Let's start with the aftermath of Parkland and the steps that the school board has taken. We have a quasi thing going on here with the SROs still in the schools, building towards your own police department. Bridget, some people say that the process from there to here has been really kind of chaotic when it should not have been.
Well, first of all, safety and security prior to Parkland always a priority, but I think it was magnified certainly after Parkland, and everyone across the state was looking at how do we address this effectively. I think Sarasota County was definitely in the forefront of it. I had the opportunity to call an executive session immediately after I went to Tallahassee. I was appointed as the governor's safety task force, and I think Sarasota County started ahead of the curve. I was incredibly disappointed as things started to deteriorate with relationships, miscommunication, which is why as we moved forward, I think when hindsight being 20/20, I think that, as I told the superintendent at those times, we needed to have all the options on the table so we could come together as a board and vet those issues earlier on and make educated decisions. I was disappointed that hadn't happened, and I fear that was also why why there was a push to go into an internal police department, which I have been very vocal about not supporting.
Nick, what do you think of the internal police department and the agreement with the sheriff's office at this point, which is the school board is paying a bigger share of the cost than it used to?
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate that we now have to have an armed law enforcement officer in every school, but that's what it's come to. The state did us no favors with how they structured the funding for this, and all summer this was politicized. I mean, we had people that communication's a two-way street, and I know there were a lot of egos involved with this discussion between the superintendent and the sheriff, and all summer we needed somebody to step up and bring these people together, and that didn't happen. I mean, for months, you learned more reading about it in the paper from press releases and conversations people were having. And I was leery at first, but now when I see that these officers have averaged around 20, 22 years experience, they're coming from our local municipalities, our local law enforcement agencies, I'm pretty optimistic. I look forward to seeing what they do.
I'm going to ask you both a real quick question, real quick answers. Guardian program, which is in the state legislation, would you be in favor of it?
No. Is that quick enough for you?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Bridget?
And I've always said this, I defer to law enforcement, and that was putting all of the options on the table. I think we need to have a plan together with the experts in law enforcement. I would never make an opinion on it because nothing's been presented where I could vet that specifically, but I ultimately believe we need to focus on education and partner with our law enforcement partners so that we can focus on our core competencies.
We're going to take a quick break. Our conversation on the District 1 school board debate continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with meteorologist Josh Stone. Josh.
All right, Alan, thank you so much. It's wet out there. We're showing you a live look at our radar, and there's plenty of green, yellows, and orange, and even reds on it. Right now, we do have a cell over here just to the east of Parrish, actually stretching all the way to Wauchula that's producing heavy rain. Doesn't look like any lightning's coming out of this particular cell. Around Siesta Key, moderate rainfall taking place right now. The biggest cell right now on our radar, producing even some lightning strikes around Punta Gorda and Northport at this hour. So it's been kind of one of those days where we've had clouds and showers, and some of these showers producing some heavy rain. As far as our high today, topping out at 87 degrees. The average for this time of the year is 90, but we didn't get anywhere near the record that was set back in 1998 of 96 degrees. As far as rain today, look at this, the official total, only 0.10. Yeah, right. We just showed you the radar, and obviously there's plenty of rain and heavy rain around the area. It all is where the rain gauge is set up, and this particular rain gauge is the official rain gauge of Sarasota. It's at the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport. Obviously, the heaviest cells didn't track over that particular rain gauge. We still are about 2 inches under where we should be this time of the year, but I think this year we should this week we should start to make that up with the amount of rain that's in our forecast. But look at this, almost 3 inches of rain fell just to the north of Arcadia and 2.68 inches of rain just to the north of Northport. So we had areas of heavy rain causing ponding of the roads. In fact, in Manatee County and central Sarasota County, there has been an aerial flood advisory thanks to this heavy rain coming down. As far as the mid to upper level moisture, plenty of it shows up in blue, and we have an area of counterclockwise rotation around this low and clockwise rotation around this high. The wind's coming up from the south and bringing that moisture and spilling it on top of us. So how long is it going to last for? At least for tonight, things start to wind down by the mid to late evening hours, maybe a rogue shower or storm in the Gulf, but other than that, everything looks pretty quiet on the futurecast for the remaining several hours as we go through the overnight. Tropics all quiet. That's what we like to talk about during the hurricane season. Looks like a good boating day for tomorrow, but then the showers and storms return in the late morning and early afternoon hours. So if you're taking your boat out, just be mindful of that. May have to dodge some lightning bolts. So obviously you don't want to be out there when lightning's striking the Gulf. 76 for the overnight low, mostly cloudy skies. For the most part, I think we'll have a quiet evening after the rain wraps up. 89 for a high tomorrow. Remember, our average for a high this time of the year is 90. So we do have about a 50 to 60% chance of shower activity for the next few days. And then as we get into the weekend, we're going to have some dry air that slips in from the east and erodes that rain chance. Still calling for about a 40% chance of showers and storms, but still not as great as we have for the early to mid part of this work week. We'll be right back. Alan will be back with his guests.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
When I was growing up,
My mom told us, always treat others the way you want to be treated. She did business with companies that shared her values, like Mutual of Omaha. She had a guaranteed whole life insurance policy through United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, a Mutual of Omaha company. When my mother passed away, her United of Omaha policy helped cover her funeral expenses and bills, and they had money on its way to us within 24 hours.
United of Omaha is here to take care of you. When you call the number on your screen, we'll help find the right policy for you. If you're between 45 and 85, you can get coverage up to $25,000 with no medical exam. Call us right now at the number on your screen.
Now I know I'll be taking care of my family, even after I'm gone.
United of Omaha guaranteed whole life insurance. Call or go online now. Be there for their future.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live.
I live.
She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
I used to dread getting up and going to work.
I was done with the corporate grind.
I was tired of being a starving artist.
And I started looking around for a business that I believed in, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more green.
My SCORE mentor helped me take the first step.
He helped me create a business plan and helped me implement it.
They've really taught me how to think big.
SCORE helped me to make the unimaginable possible, all for free. I'm here because of SCORE.
I'm here because of SCORE.
Get your free business mentor at score.org.
Welcome back to the Sarasota School Board District 1 debate. And tonight, joining us for more are School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler and her challenger Nick Guy. And I'm going to do something that we did with the other candidates, because these elections are about hiring and firing. And Nick, I'm going to start with you. Why should the good voters who are watching this tonight fire Bridget Ziegler?
Well, let's talk more about why they should hire me. Someone with actual education experience in the last decade working in the corporate world, technology, IT solutions. I think I have a unique blend of skills and knowledge that is vital for leading the board. We've seen a lot of politics brought into our school board these last few years, and that's not what this is about. This is about the community. This is about public education. Public education has been under attack in the state of Florida for decades. I moved down here 14 years ago to teach middle school, and I saw it then. I left after a couple years, and I always said I would get back into, or I'd be involved with my children's education. I just didn't realize it would be running for school board involved when my oldest daughter started kindergarten. But I want the public to know, I want the voters to know that when elected, that they will have an absolute champion advocate for public schools in our community, because that's what a board member should be doing first and foremost. If I'm ever given the opportunity to go to Tallahassee and talk to any legislators, I'll be advocating for our communities, for our schools only. And like I said, we need to take the politics out of the school board.
Okay, Bridget, why should voters decide to let you keep your job?
Well, I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish in the last 4 years, and I believe that from what I hear from members in the community, it's clear that I don't shy away from a fight when I think it's in the best interest of taxpayers, teachers, staff, but ultimately students, and being a champion of students. And I know I'm an advocate of public schools, but it comes down to making sure that it's all about the students. And so I will continue to do that. I know that as a board member, sometimes we're challenged with uncomfortable and tough decisions, but being able to discuss them in a transparent way, in a civil way, is really what's going to allow our district to maintain top in the state and grow beyond that and be the best in the country.
We have a little less than 2 minutes in this segment, but let's start on some issues. One would be the superintendent. There was discussions about changing the provisions in his contract that would allow the school board to dismiss them. Obviously, there's been a lot of communication issues between him and the school board and him and the sheriff. How did we get to this point, Bridget?
Well, the evaluation came out last week, and I think it's very clear that I was very honest with my evaluation of the superintendent. I had reservations, and it was when he came on board, I've been pretty clear that he ultimately wasn't necessarily the first pick, but given that the majority of the board had spoken, and I wanted to put my best foot forward and ultimately do whatever I could do to make that individual successful, because if they're successful, that has a direct implication on our students. The last few months specifically, but over the course of the year, but the last few months specifically have had me very concerned. I'm very worried about the morale, and I think we need to reevaluate.
Nick, how has Bridget and the school board handled this situation?
Yeah, I went back and watched a lot of old school board meetings, and I mean, sitting through them is pretty rough sometimes when there's a lot of I guess arguing going on, and you know, she voted for the superintendent a few years ago. It was a 4-to-1 vote, and then they unanimously decided in the name of continuity to all vote in favor of him. I don't, I've looked at the other two candidates. I don't know if I would have voted for Dr. Bowden, and I see what's going on, the evolution of this kind of argument. This is from the playbook of trying to create chaos and harm public schools. I mean, this is happening all over our country. There's an orchestrated and organized effort to try and make public schools seem just like they're hopeless and they're we got to do something else, and that's not right.
We had to take a quick break, and we will pick up on it in a moment, but we are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on the District 1 school board debate. We'll continue right after this break.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night, or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night, and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Investigate TV tackles the tough topics.
What happened to my life was awful.
When your health is compromised, we investigate.
They are really drug dealers in white coats.
Corporate greed exposed.
How do you trust them to run this program?
The powerful held accountable with in-depth journalism led by award-winning journalist Lee Zurich. We're your watchdog. Search Investigate TV on your Roku device. Download it now.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore two hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
A About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back to Sarasota School Board District 1 debate. Tonight, District 1, joining us is School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler and her challenger Nick Guy. Bridget, let me give you a chance to respond to what Nick was saying before the break.
Well, I think it's important from a division standpoint. I think there's a lot of times there's this discussion about philosophical differences, and there are, no doubt, which is typical of any board. You want diverse opinions, but what I believe oftentimes divides things is the notion of being uncomfortable about bringing forward topics where we need to debate and pushing our district forward versus discussing things that really are decided upon at the state level versus what's going to impact Sarasota County as school board members.
Well, let me turn the subject a little bit to charter schools, which is really one of those issues that the school board has debated and people in this community have very strong feelings about. And the question is whether or not the school board should be approving for-profit charter schools. Bridget, what is your position on this?
So for-profit charter schools, again, is something that oftentimes is a misstatement. There are for-profit management companies that do manage charter schools. I ultimately believe in school choice and want to ensure that there's the best opportunities and options for any student. There's a diverse fit for students, and we want to have those options. As a school board member, I want to make sure that we're working every single day to make our schools that best choice. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to making sure there's customized options for students for them to thrive.
Nick, I know that you have strong feelings on this subject.
Well, I think we need to close the for-profit managed loophole because so the idea when it was started was a local organization identifies a local need that the local school district isn't providing and they put resources behind it. It's a community thing. Unfortunately, some people have corrupted this, turned it into a big box model, and recently, just this past May, the largest for-profit managed charter school corporation, Academica, applied to come into Sarasota County. They have their eyes on us. I mean, we are I think we're the best school district in the state of Florida, hands down. And we organized a protest that afternoon, not just meet concerned citizens from a wide variety of backgrounds and ages. Around 12 people got up and used their 3 minutes to talk about why this was a bad fit for Sarasota County. And fortunate for the community that charter school was not approved at a 4-to-1 vote, with the only favorable vote being my opponent.
Bridget, why did you vote in that case?
We have a process in place, the CRC, which is not to be confused with the Constitution Revision Commission, but it's the Charter Review Committee in Sarasota County. They work very hard and have a very diligent process, and they bring forward recommendations. I evaluated that based on that. I even said during the workshop to the applicants, we have a high bar in Sarasota County. There's some great options, and so are you able to fulfill that, the enrollment? And my goal is to make sure that the continuity for our students exists, and based on the recommendation of the committee, it seemed to pass that test.
Well, I believe, and I read all 140 some odd pages of the recommendation, they wanted to target Title I students in Palmer Ranch. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there aren't a lot of Title I students living in Palmer Ranch. They want to set up shop in an affluent area so they can attract those students. It was completely backwards in what they were trying to do. They wanted to get in here, they want to expand. And we're not busting at the seams with a student population that's requiring us to add more schools or build more schools. We need to take care of the choices that we do have. I mean, I believe that we should have choices. I do, but we need to take care of those choices.
Let me broaden this subject a little bit in terms of the issue of whether taxpayer money, that earmark for the school district, should wind up at charter schools that are run by for-profit companies. Bridget, that's something that a lot of people talk about and a lot of people have a problem with.
Okay, so again, I focus on if the families are making a decision for whatever reason, to go to these schools. I believe in empowering families. When we talk about, and when they add in the for-profit component, I think that ultimately funding needs to follow the students, and those families are making that decision. What I would like us to understand is, why are you going there? What are they offering that isn't being offered, that they don't believe is being offered in some of our district-managed schools? And then at the end of the day, if they're providing high-quality outcomes, that's what education's there for.
Well, I mean, this school that applied was not providing anything unique that the school district here currently wasn't providing. They have a history of this. They get into a school district and they expand. That's their goal. And there is a long history of problems with them. And I was there. You cited, I want to give parents choice. We have a process. Yes, they didn't do well in the process. It was very clear what they were trying to do. And as I said earlier, we need to take care of the choices. My wife and I just used the choice program. The very last day we got the elementary school that we wanted for our daughter who was about to start kindergarten. We've got wonderful choices here. We need to take care of them. We need to identify. There's always room for improvement. But we need to find the missing piece to reach those underperforming students to bring them up. Because if we just keep adding more and more schools, or allow the largest management company in the state of Florida into our district, the toothpaste is going to come flying out of the tube.
I think you wanted to respond to that, and then let me get into
I was just going to say, it's interesting as I reflect on the 4 years on the board. When I first came on to the board in 2014, we had 11 applicants for charter schools, and now we maybe have 1. So I think there is definitely a balancing component where people are recognizing that the demand isn't there, and I think that's a testament that Sarasota County is continuing to offer the better choices for district-managed schools.
Let's do something just a little bit different tonight, and that is, let me allow both of you to ask each other a question. Bridget, if there was one question that you have wanted to ask Nick over the course of this campaign, what would that be?
I find that a lot of the discussion, what I've heard from on the campaign trail, is oftentimes focused on legislative issues at the state level, which we do partner in as a local school board member with legislators, but I'd like to see more and hear more about local policy issues that he would be focused on.
Well, in response to that, I would like to see a history of you going to Tallahassee to promote Sarasota County, its schools, and its community, and not handing out cutesy awards to these legislators that are passing out, or that are passing this awful legislation that's further depleting the vital funds that schools need to operate, to provide the highest quality free education to every child, regardless of zip code. That's what I would like to see. I mean, this came up in a board meeting last year where all of a sudden, I think it was Jane Goodwin was the legislative liaison, and they found out Bridget was up in Tallahassee, and not advocating for Sarasota County or the schools or its community.
Accurate,
let me give you a chance to respond to that, then I have a question for Nick.
So I go to Tallahassee maybe once a year because my time is spent locally here at the district. I do work on creating better, stronger relationships to advocate for Sarasota County students. When I'm up there, I think we need to have strong relationships, especially as legislation goes forward, to see what the impact is, have people from the front lines discuss with them and build upon that. I'm pleased with some of the legislation that have been able to promote and pass forward. Some of them was around testing. I know that was a huge issue and oftentimes gets overlooked, and I'm really proud of some of the legislation that I was able to help pass.
Nick, what is the one question you would like to ask Bridget, not only about her time on the school board, but also her time as chair?
Wow, that's a good one. Where do I start? Well, I mean, recently there's been a lot of noise around school safety, and it just seems like you received all this praise for organizing this meeting that conveniently was scheduled while some other board members were going to be out of town. But for months, there was nothing, not a word, not a peep. Why were you so quiet between April and the end of May, when all of this fighting and all of this back and forth in the newspaper and the news? Why were you so quiet for those 2 months when you as the chair should have been leading the district towards a solution? I think you really let down not only my family, but families throughout this community.
Let's give Bridget a
well, so if you go back and actually closely watched, I was anything but quiet, and I typically am not, and had been pushing the superintendent. The superintendent is our CEO who's leading the district, and I was very vocal about my disappointment of lack of preparedness. It seemed that oftentimes there was focus on defending whatever was going on with the antics between relationships versus bringing forward prepared options.
We have less than a minute here, but let me get this question in there. mean, why could something not have been done to repair the relationship between the superintendent and sheriff, which are the two guys really on the front lines of school safety?
Yeah, I can't speak for either of them, but it did seem that there was a common theme about miscommunication. And so why I chose when I was very concerned that when the internal police department was brought up on March 22nd, then April 3rd, I thought we are way over our head. But as things progressed, it felt like that we weren't clear on what was going on. We didn't have a clear path. That's why I called a June 12th meeting. And to be fair, I gave a large flexibility of time frame when my other fellow school board members were attending a conference the following day in Tampa. So.
Okay. Right. We have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment. Stay with us.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. You can recover. It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery. The world is a beautiful place again. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. We'll give you both a minute to state your case to voters. And Bridget, why don't we start with you?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity. It's been an honor to serve this community. I think Sarasota County absolutely has the best schools in the state, and I want to continue to move us forward. I know safety and security has always been a top priority of mine. When you talk to a family who lost their daughter in Parkland, it takes a very different tone, and I've had that opportunity to see that. So I will continue to champion our student-first policies and making sure our government is transparent and accountable to the decision we're making, so making sure that people recognize we're doing what we're supposed to do and representing in the best interest of our students.
Nick?
I got into this, what I believe is all the right reasons. I spent a lot of sleepless nights walking the floor of All Children's Hospital while my youngest daughter was battling cancer, and I kept asking myself, am I doing everything I can to protect her future, fight for her future, her education, her sisters, who's about to start kindergarten? And it started here because I've been able to read between the lines of what's been going on with the legislation and the policies that are further harming public schools. And I couldn't sit this out. I couldn't sit idly by and let this continue, because education is everything. It is the bulldozer that levels the playing field of opportunity for every child. And as a community, if the public knew what was going on in public education, they would be furious. And people are busy. They're working sometimes 2 jobs. They're not as dialed in as to the small fraction of us that they're really hanging on every sort of policy and decision and the impact it has to our schools. But people are learning, people are getting smart, and I think that they were fooled in 2014, and I don't think they're going to be fooled again this year.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. I want to thank you both for being here tonight, but before we go, we want to share with you what some viewers said about Friday's show on the week in Washington. At the Trapezoid, we discussed the new economic numbers, GDP growing 4.1%. We also discussed President Trump's lawyers' comments on the Russia investigation and payments to a Playboy model. So we went to Facebook for your thoughts, and we found Steve. Steve, who says, hey, ABC7, why are you not talking about the 4.1% GDP? America is winning again. You can keep pushing your fake news narrative and looking for what dirt will take Trump down, but Americans can see right through your BS. Hashtag Make America Great Again. So get this. Scott goes on to say he didn't watch our roundtable, although a link to it was right there on our Facebook post. Now, we kick it around pretty good when we talk about the week in Washington, but to run out that fake news baloney without actually watching the roundtable, if you had watched it, Scott, you would have known we spent the entire first segment talking about the 4.1 GDP and how it will impact the fall campaign. Scott, we live in troubled times, and the real fraud is phony righteous indignation. Remember that line by Michael Douglas in the movie The American President? America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You got to want it bad. In this case, it wasn't even that hard. The link to the roundtable was right above your snarky comment. Look, the times demand everyone on both sides of the aisle be informed and engaged and not just regurgitate nonsense about fake news floated by those hoping to manipulate public perception to their benefit. Yep, there's a lot on the line these days, and we value constructive criticism around here. So do us a favor. Don't make things up. If you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. We want to thank our guest, School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler, and her challenger, Nick Guy. When we return, are we on the verge of a government shutdown, and how can we prevent it from happening? But right now, let's get a final check on our forecast from meteorologist Josh Stone. Josh.
Wow, Alan, that's a hard act to follow. I'm just trying to make my forecast great again. That's all I'm trying to do anyway. Looking at the radar right now, some people don't like the rain, but we have to deal with it as we're trying to, just mitigate through this. We have we have widespread showers, and on the radar we have yellows and reds that depict where the heavier showers and even some thunderstorms are taking place. Looks like the thunderstorms, though, are winding down, but here in Manatee County and Hardee County, we have some shower activity that's on the heavier side, and also in downtown Sarasota, more of a steady, moderate rainfall all the way from downtown Sarasota to Siesta Key and out towards I-75 on Fruitville Road. Another area of some heavy wet weather in Punta Gorda, just to the east of that, and to rural areas as we get into eastern Charlotte County and eastern DeSoto County. So that's where the rainfall is happening now. Looks like as we go through the rest of the evening, things are on the decline, and looks like we'll start to have more just mostly cloudy skies, maybe a rogue shower, and that's about it. We actually topped out at 87 degrees. Our average for this time of the year is 90, so just below that, but for the most part, pretty much right on par where we should be. We only received officially 0.10 inches of rain. Now that's interesting. I just showed you the radar a second ago, and we had a lot of rain on it, and spots were receiving heavy rain. But this is where the rain gauge is. This is the official gauge of Sarasota, and it's located at the airport, the Sarasota Bradenton International Airport. Now, still for the year, we are 2 inches below where we should be at this time of the year, but it looks like this week, this forecast shows a good amount of rain coming in, so we may make up that 2-inch deficit. As far as some of the areas that receive heavier rains than the 0.10 inches of the official rain at the airport. We've received 2.6 inches of rain just to the north of Northport and almost 3 inches here just to the north of Arcadia. With all this rain coming down in a very short amount of time, the National Weather Service has issued a small stream flood advisory for southeast Manatee County and eastern Sarasota County right now. So look out for that if you're in those areas or heading in that direction. Buggy forecast ahead for us. This afternoon showers and storms will be over the next few days, and then it looks like some dry air will migrate its way in from the east as we get into our weekend. As far as the futurecast shows, everything starts to wind down as we go through the overnight. Tropics are very quiet at this time, so no issues there. And that's what we like to talk about during hurricane season. Nothing. As far as what's happening right now, we're going to call for 50 to 60% chance of shower activity for the next few days. And then as we enter into the weekend, some dry air comes in and lessens that rain chance to about 40%. Stay with us, everyone. Alan will be right back. We'll be right back with you.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
I need medical exams, things like that.
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android.
This is awesome.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump is threatening another government shutdown. The president insisting he wants a government spending plan to include funding for his border wall. That threat is catching some Republicans on Capitol Hill off guard. ABC's Arlette Sains has the story from Washington.
President Trump is issuing a fresh ultimatum over his border wall.
If we don't get border security, I would have no problem doing a shutdown. It's time we had proper border security. With a laughing stock of the world.
That threat comes as a surprise to Republican leaders who just last week met with the president to discuss government funding.
Leader McConnell and I, like we always do, had a very productive meeting.
The leaders thought they had an agreement to postpone a fight over the border wall until after the midterm elections.
We've gotten some wall funding already underway that is being funded, but I think it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
But the president's threat throws that timing up in the air. That border wall was one of the president's main campaign promises, but Mexico was going to pay for it, not U.S. taxpayers.
We will build a great wall along the southern border, and Mexico will pay for the wall.
But that's now changed, and there's still a split over how much funding to give to the wall. The House is allocating $5 billion for border funding, while the Senate has set aside $1.6 billion. And the funding could be a non-starter for Democrats. On CBS, one Republican spoke out against the shutdown tactic.
I certainly don't like playing shutdown politics. I don't think it'd be helpful, so let's try and avoid it.
Government funding will expire on September 30th. The House has already recessed for the summer, leaving them just 11 legislative days to pass a bill to avoid a government shutdown weeks before the midterm elections. Arlette Sains, ABC News, Washington.
The CBS Board of Directors wants outside counsel to investigate accusations of sexual misconduct against CEO Les Moonves. According to one source, at least some board members raised the idea that Moonves should step down during the probe, but CBS said no other action was taken on the issue at Monday's board meeting. The meeting was scheduled before a report in the New Yorker Friday detailing allegations against Moonves. 6 women told the magazine he sexually harassed them. A wrongful death lawsuit has been filed on behalf of some of the Indianapolis families killed in that duck boat incident in Branson, Missouri. The vehicle capsized and sank on earlier this month during a storm. 17 people died, including the driver of the boat and 9 members of a family on vacation from Indianapolis. The lawsuit against Ripley Entertainment seeks at least $100 million in damages. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.